Whatever happened to Vegas welcoming you with open arms? Forget it, that Vegas is gone, and they buried it. They're bleeding you dry with outrageous resort fees and $50 minimums, all while a secret society of billionaires wager millions on a single hand in hidden opulent salons. Think about what you earn in a year. James Packer gambles that exact amount on one single hand of blackjack without even blinking. Floyd Mayweather casually tosses away more cash in a single night than entire communities see in a whole year. This is the new Las Vegas, a place that's made it painfully clear you are irrelevant. Let's pull back the curtain on the titans who have seized control. We start with James Packer, the $3.2 billion Australian whale who treats Vegas like his personal piggy bank. Don't call James Packer rich. He's not. He's a new kind of Las Vegas royalty, and he didn't earn his crown, he bought it. This Australian tycoon with a staggering $3.2 billion fortune commands Crown Resorts, one of the most colossal casino empires on the planet. But this is the part that should make you furious. Packer charters private jets to Las Vegas for one reason: to wager millions of dollars on individual hands of blackjack and poker. While you're stuck in line, Packer is whisked through private entrances at the Bellagio and Venetian. He pays no resort fees. He never even glimpses a bill. The rules simply don't apply to him. Instead, he's personally escorted to clandestine gaming salons where the absolute minimum to play is more than most people earn in an entire month. Let this sink in. We are talking about a man who will drop $500,000 on one hand of blackjack and feel absolutely nothing. That's more than the price of a family home in America, gambled away in less than 30 seconds. Your life's biggest investment is his pocket change. This isn't a hobby for Packer. It's a conquest. He's planting his flag, declaring Vegas his personal dominion, and systematically pushing you out of the very city your money helped create. Next, we have Floyd "Money" Mayweather, the $1.2 to $2 billion machine built on sports betting and sheer audacity. Sure, Floyd Mayweather got the nickname Money from boxing, but his $1.2 billion empire has metastasized far beyond the ring. And where does a massive chunk of that fortune go? It's funneled directly into the coffers of Vegas casinos. You have to understand, Mayweather doesn't just visit Vegas, he acts like he owns the place. With a sprawling Las Vegas mansion, he treats the entire strip as his private amusement park. Forget betting a few $100 on a game, this guy wagers millions on a single sports event like it's nothing. You'll see the pictures. Him at blackjack and roulette tables, casually playing with chips that are worth more than your car. But here's the part that is truly infuriating. The casinos tell you a $100 bet makes you a high roller. Mayweather uses that same amount as a casual tip for the dealer before the first card is even dealt. It's a slap in the face. His social media is a grotesque spectacle, shamelessly flaunting mountains of cash, literally millions of dollars. And take one guess where that cash gets funneled. The very same Vegas casinos that once catered to you, but have now completely redesigned their business to worship at the altar of men like him. Mayweather is the poster child for the new Las Vegas customer. A person with more wealth than entire cities, who treats gambling with the same seriousness as finding loose change. And while he plays, hardworking families are being suffocated by resort fees and impossible table minimums. The cold, hard truth is that Mayweather burns through more money in one night out than most people will ever see in their entire lives. Then there's Phil Ivey, the $100 million poker predator. Forget the billionaires, Ivey might just be the most lethal player in all of Vegas. And I'll tell you exactly why. It's not just about his money, it's about his terrifying skill. With 10 World Series of poker bracelets and over $100 million in tournament winnings alone, Ivey is a different kind of monster. A Vegas whale who knows exactly how to gut the competition. Ivey sits at high-stakes cash games where hundreds of thousands of dollars are on the line with every single hand. Not per night, not per hour, per single hand. While you're desperately searching for a $10 blackjack table, Ivey is playing in a poker game where the forced bets, the blinds, start at $1,000 to $2,000. Do you understand what that means? Just to look at your cards, you're forced to bet more than most families scrape together for groceries over several months. But here's the sickening truth that makes Ivey the poster child for this Vegas crisis. He's notorious for his worldwide craps expeditions, shamelessly hitting 5 or more casinos in different countries on a single decadent trip. He burns through over $100,000 on a single roll of the dice and plays baccarat for $200,000 per hand. This is not gambling, it's a perversion. This is an industrial-scale siphoning of wealth that the New Vegas has deliberately structured its entire rotten business around. Ivey once bled the casinos for $30 million using edge sorting, triggering a massive legal war. But don't get distracted, the point isn't whether he played dirty. The real outrage is that he was operating in a financial stratosphere where winning $30 million was even possible. That is the corrupt scale on which Vegas now operates. Now for Dan Bilzerian, the $200 million so-called king of Instagram. Dan Bilzerian has the audacity to call himself a king, and he uses his $200 million net worth to bankroll a lifestyle that is nothing but blatant tourism propaganda for the ultra-wealthy. You'll find Bilzerian flaunting his cash at Aria and Wynn, playing high-stakes poker and baccarat. But his truly toxic influence on Vegas is cultural. This man has turned obscene wealth into a brand, plastering his Instagram with private jets, opulent rented mansions, and gambling sessions where the chips on the table are worth more than most people's entire annual salary. He isn't just a high roller, he's a salesman, peddling a fraudulent fantasy of Vegas wealth to millions of followers who are being sold a reality they are permanently locked out of. Bilzerian made his fortune from poker, and now he spends it all creating propaganda that showcases Vegas as an exclusive playground for the super rich. And while regular people can't even find a table with a reasonable minimum, Bilzerian is out there posting videos of baccarat games where he's tossing around $50,000 a hand like it's Monopoly money. Here's the cruel, twisted irony. Bilzerian's entire social media empire is built on a lie, selling the Vegas dream to the very people that the real Vegas he occupies has completely shut out. He is advertising a product you are forbidden to buy from a city that has made it perfectly clear it no longer wants your business. But these guys are just pawns. Now we expose the casino ownership class, the people who really pulled the strings in Vegas. It's time to talk about the people who don't just gamble in Vegas, they own it, and their staggering wealth makes these high rollers look destitute. First, let's unmask Miriam Adelson, the $36.3 billion matriarch of Vegas. As the widow of Sheldon Adelson, she commands a $36.3 billion fortune, making her the literal richest person in Las Vegas. As the majority owner of Las Vegas Sands, she doesn't just play in the casinos. She owns them. Let that sink in. One single woman possesses more wealth than the entire gross domestic product of most countries. And she's weaponizing that wealth to transform Vegas into an elitist fortress that normal people can no longer afford. Under her direction, Las Vegas Sands has forced the industry toward extreme luxury, aggressive exclusivity, and a pricing model engineered to eliminate the middle-class customer entirely. Adelson is the living, breathing representation of the fundamental corruption at the heart of modern Vegas. The people making these decisions about your vacation have never, in their entire insulated lives, had to worry about a $50 table minimum or a $45 resort fee. They are building a Vegas for their own kind, billionaires who treat money like it's water. When Adelson makes business decisions for her properties, she is only thinking about customers who can casually drop $100,000 in a single weekend. Not families who have to save up all year for their one annual vacation. Her wealth is so obscene that the economic reality of a regular person doesn't even register in her world. on her radar. And then we have Phil Ruffin, the $3.5 billion Vegas veteran who should be on everyone's. This man owns Treasure Island and Circus. And if that's not enough, he's a part owner of the former U.S. leadership's International Hotel. At 89 years old and sitting on $3.5 billion, Ruffin is the very embodiment of old Vegas money, now completely surrendering to the insatiable greed of the new era. And make no mistake, Ruffin is still very active in the game. But the state of his properties tells you everything you need to know. Take Circus, a place that was once a supposed haven for families on a budget, which has now jacked up its prices and gutted its comps, deliberately squeezing every last dime from its regular customers. What do you expect when a man worth $3.5 billion gets to decide what's affordable for the rest of us? The results are as predictable as they are disgusting. There was a time when Treasure Island and Circus were places where a working family could actually afford a good time. But under Ruffin's watch, they've mutated into just another expensive exclusionary trap, spreading the same virus of greed that has infected the entire city. But to truly grasp the sickening scale of this transformation, you have to look at the legends of the past and hold them up against the billionaire gamblers of today. Let's talk about Kerry Packer, the man who became a legend for a $20 million session. Kerry Packer, father of James, was infamously known as the Prince of Wales, and he's the one who created the blueprint for the sick spectacle of modern Vegas whale worship. In one session that has gone down in history, Packer bled the MGM Grand for $20 million in a mere 40 minutes. But this is where the story takes a dark turn. You have to understand, Kerry Packer was an anomaly. The amount he was betting was shocking precisely because nobody had ever seen anything like it. Today, that shocking once-in-a-lifetime betting level is now the bare minimum to even get the casino's attention as a high roller. He was betting up to $250,000 on a single hand of blackjack, a figure that was once considered absolutely astronomical. Now that's just a casual Tuesday night for the likes of his own son, James. Get this, Kerry Packer's total Vegas losses over 15 years were around $20+ million. Today's whales can burn through that much cash in a single bad weekend. The scale has become so grotesquely inflated that what was once front-page news is now just business as usual. And that brings us to the tragic case of Terrence Watanabe, the man who holds the horrifying record of a $127 million loss. In 2007, Terrence Watanabe lost an unbelievable $127 million at Caesars Palace in the Rio, a record of financial ruin that shamefully still stands. His devastation accounted for 5.6% of Caesars' entire annual revenue that year. Just let that sink in. A single man's catastrophic losses made up nearly 6% of a massive casino corporation's income. And here's the most sickening part. Watanabe wasn't even a billionaire. He was just a wealthy businessman who had sold his family's company. That $127 million he lost wasn't disposable income. It was his inheritance, the proceeds from the sale of his family's life's work. It wasn't an endless stream of billionaire cash. And yet, what did Caesars do? They built their entire business model on the hunt for more people just like him to destroy. It all comes down to their cruel, predatory math. Caesars learned it's more profitable to find and drain one compulsive gambler than it is to entertain thousands of regular people. And that poisonous lesson has since infected every single casino company, which brings us to Don Johnson, the $15.1 million strategic genius who fought back. In 2011, Don Johnson went on a tear, taking Atlantic City casinos for $15.1 million in just 6 months. He took the Tropicana for $6 million, hit the Borgata for $5 million, and even beat Caesars for another $4 million. But here's the kicker. Johnson wasn't counting cards. He wasn't cheating. He simply outsmarted them, negotiating favorable rules and using pure mathematical advantage. Johnson's winnings were so colossal that they sparked international headlines and forced the casinos to rewrite their rulebooks. But pay close attention to this next part. Johnson was operating completely within their system. He just played the game more intelligently than the casinos ever thought possible. And you can bet they made sure that could never happen again. Vegas operates on this outrageous assumption that their whale customers are either untouchable billionaires who can bleed cash, or mathematical geniuses like Johnson who can negotiate their way to an advantage. But there is absolutely no room in their predatory model for you, the regular players who just want a fair game and a reasonable price. But it gets worse. Vegas isn't just content with coddling American billionaires. No, they are actively importing the ultra-wealthy from all over the world. Take Akio Kashiwagi, the so-called $200,000 per hand warrior. This man, Akio Kashiwagi, infamously known as the Warrior, was a Japanese real estate tycoon who would brazenly bet $100,000 to $200,000 on a single hand of baccarat during the 1970s and 1980s. His notorious showdown with a past US political figure's casino became the stuff of Vegas legend. Then, in a dark turn, Kashiwagi was found murdered in his home in Japan in 1992, with his death inextricably linked to organized crime. But what did Vegas learn from this? They saw his gambling style, this fearless, massive betting, and made it the very template for what they now demand from their whales. Or how about Zhenli Yigan, the $157 million man of immense controversy? This man lost a staggering $157 million at the Las Vegas Sands alone. This loss cemented his place as one of the biggest losers in Vegas history. But Yigan was tied to drug trafficking cases, with authorities seizing $25 million from him. This immediately raises the glaring question of where all that gambling money was really coming from. And here is the most telling part of the whole sordid affair. Vegas didn't ask a single question about the source of Yigan's funds while he was hemorrhaging $157 million at their tables. They were just delighted to take his questionable money and give him the full whale treatment, completely indifferent to how that cash was actually earned. So let's expose this so-called VIP treatment and reveal what that kind of money really buys you. Here is exactly what these billionaires are getting that you are not. They get entire penthouse suites and secluded private villas. A personal concierge is at their beck and call 24/7. They have personal butlers assigned to their every need. They get exclusive gaming rooms, completely closed off to the public, with tables where the limits start far beyond where yours could ever end. They're served private meals from celebrity chefs with fully customized menus. They're poured premium beverages that cost more than your car payment. They're given front row seats to any show they desire, plus exclusive backstage access. They're handed luxury gifts worth more than most people's annual salaries. And here's the ultimate insult: loss rebates of 10 to 20%. They literally get paid to lose. And what do you, a middle-class person, get? You get hit with resort fees that cost more than entire weekends once did in Old Vegas. You're charged outrageous parking fees just for the privilege of entering their casinos. You're faced with table minimums designed specifically to price out anyone playing for fun. You get watered-down drinks served at a snail's pace by an overworked staff. You're gouged by food prices that would make an airport vendor feel ashamed. You receive customer service that treats you like a problem to be solved, not a guest to be valued. You're offered loyalty programs that only reward massive spending, not actual loyalty. You get comps that demand a fortune in play for a pittance in return. There's a name for this betrayal: the economics of abandonment. This is the cold, heartless math that clarifies in no uncertain terms why Las Vegas has turned its back on you. Their twisted logic is this: one whale losing $10 million in a single weekend generates more profit than 1,000 regular customers having a good time while each losing $100. In their purely numbers-driven world, catering exclusively to billionaires is the only thing that makes financial sense. But this greedy, short-sighted math ignores everything that ever made Vegas special. It willfully ignores the incredible power of word-of-mouth marketing from millions of satisfied everyday customers. It spits on the cultural importance of Vegas as America's playground. It callously disregards the economic lifeblood that middle-class tourism provides to the entire Las Vegas economy. And most importantly, it ignores the fatal flaw in their entire plan. There are only about 200 of these true whales in the entire world. Can you believe Vegas has gambled its entire soul on appeasing roughly 200 elites while shoving millions of its real customers aside? It's a complete sham, considering Vegas built its entire legendary status on being the one place where anybody could feel like royalty for a weekend. Now, it's nothing but a private playground for billionaires. They call that progress? I call it what it is, a disgusting betrayal. If your eyes are finally open to this scam, then demolish that like button and subscribe for more of the ugly truth about these industries that have sold out their most loyal patrons. You have to hit that notification bell because somebody needs to keep dragging these crooked stories into the light. The billionaires have officially seized Vegas. So the real question is, who are you going to let earn your money from now on? From now on?